You guys want to start, or do you want me to? I felt like, seeing the way the arena was and feeling the crowd was exceptional. Thought we got off to a great start. I was telling our guys, listen, we led what I consider the best team in the country by 14 points. That shows our potential. They called a timeout, made some adjustments on how they were going to guard TB and then how they were going to attack our zone. And from that on, they scored a lot. We had zero resistance. Second half, felt like we could make some inroads, and we couldn't make shots, and we couldn't stop them. Shooting over, I think they shot 69% from the field, and so obviously they handled it pretty well.
Hey, just the things that they did against Terrell after his hot start was what?
Well, I think a big thing is we were able to we got stops early, so we were in transition, and you're not playing against a set defense, and so we were able to set drag screens. He got in the paint, and was able to, his performance in the first 10 minutes was just incredible. When they were scoring, you're not in transition and you're playing against a set defense, and they remind me a lot of USC last year. With Evan Mobley, you'd set a ball screen and they wouldn't play the 5-man, they'd sit in the paint, and then you go on a ball screen, they put a bigger guy on you and follow you, and everybody else stays connected. And we had a hard time with it. We had a hard time with it getting good ball movement. We had a hard time with beating them. Basically they're saying force you to beat you one-on-one, and we just couldn't do it.
You say that you think they're the number one team in the country.
Yeah.
Compared to other teams you've seen throughout your career, how big is that team right now?
You know what? They can really score, and they're big. They've got 3 big guys in a rotation that can all pass, dribble, and are really good down there. Ballo is getting better. They've gotten him a lot better. Koloko is probably the most improved player, maybe not even in our league, in the country. Tubelis, we know how skilled he was. And that size is a problem. And so, when you have an Army, what weapons do you have? And they have a go-to guy in the lottery pick in Matherin. They've got a really good point guard who sets the table. The bench comes in like Larson. He's 6'7" and big and can really shoot. So they've got a lot of pieces. Maybe question their ball handling or having another, Justin Keir's a really good backup, but that's maybe, they have a team where the subs come in and can actually make them better, and that's a pretty darn good thing to have. And then defensively, they're the 5th-rated defensive team in the country, and you can see why, because they don't foul and they're big. They force you to be good one-on-one players.
When you got up by 14, I think you went 10 minutes without scoring a field goal.
Yeah.
You got some free throws.
Yeah.
But what happened there without anybody?
I'm gonna have to watch it. I just saw they were scoring, which we our best offense is in transition, and it's usually off our defense. We didn't. How many steals did we have tonight? We had 2. We've been averaging 11 and 12, and we forced them to 20 turnovers last time we played them. We weren't as disruptive as we were, and so that allowed a little bit more comfort. They were stronger with the ball. They adapted well, and credit to them. But like I said before, Terrell was going, and when he was getting in the paint, he either had to score because these other guys were just staying connected. And hats off to them. I mean, they showed after being down, they made those adjustments, and it hurt us for sure.
After a timeout in the first half, you had Terrell on the bench for about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And they made that 7-0, 9-0 run. Was there ever any consideration just to play the whole game?
I was, but I felt like in the last game, because of our lead that we were going to be in this game for a while. It's going to be a long game, and if I can find him a minute, and then time it with a timeout, then it's maybe 4 minutes, and you make those calls, and it's one of those things. Hopefully you can hold the fort down, but that happens.
Just the idea of finding alternative scoring options.
Yeah.
It's been a bugaboo for you guys all season long.
Yeah.
It showed up again today.
Yeah.
Just how do you maybe sort of get that going?
Well, it just goes back to, we've been we haven't been as consistent as we would love to be. You know, that's shooting the ball. That's, you know, someone said, well, you only had 4 assists, and I said, well, we didn't have a lot of open shots. When teams force you to be one-on-one, you know, if you watch us and Terrell gets in the lane so well, a lot of teams do this, and then you can do what? And then you do this. And what they did was they stayed connected. So then when we had in a one-on-one situation, and those become tough, especially with their length. And yeah, it's really simple, but they're good.
So all come aside, was this good for your guys? Because it really had a big game feel to it coming in here.
Do you know what? That's a great question. You know, our biggest thing is DMGB. You know, you win by 1, you lose. You know, win by 1, win by 30, you win. If you lose by 1, lose by 30, you win. Or you know, you lose. You just gotta bounce back. And you know, and life's gonna knock you down. And we're a good team. I believed, you know, showing them when we're at our best, we were getting stops and we were pushing it, and we had a 14-point lead for the first 10 minutes of the game. And how can we be consistent? How can we, you know, make another counterpunch? You know, and that's something that the coaching staff, we're going to have to do a better job coaching them and getting them ready for that if we want to be one of those elite teams at the top of the league.
I think you obviously have a lot of faith in your team, but, you know, from outside, I think people go to Washington, done great against the bottom half of the conference, but you play the teams at the top of the organs there, so there hasn't really been much of a challenge. What would you respond to?
Well, my response is, you know, a couple of the teams that we played, you know, Oregon, you know, they didn't have success today. They're pretty good at home. Colorado, you know, this was our first test at home, and a really good basketball team. We'll have some more, and then we can be a judge of that. I believe in these guys. We got to obviously be better defensively for longer periods of time. We're not going to be playing teams with as many weapons, I think, as this team has, and we still have a lot of opportunities. But I believe we can. I know we can, and I know our team knows that they can. But it's got to be better than it was tonight.
Do you think you'll have Dejounte back for next week?
I don't. It's still personally like one of those day-to-day things on how he feels. But you know, just got to heal every day, and it's going to be back when he feels like he can come back and really contribute.
Do you think that you really felt his absence? You know, just out there.
Listen, Dejounte is a guy, as a coach, you could say, get the ball and go sit over there and go like this, because he's such a good point guard in terms of the way he can organize a team. If a team switches defenses, he can always do that. You have another ball handler in the game with Terrell, which can relieve a lot of the pressure from him. And he's arguably he's one of the best defensive players, you know. But, hopefully he comes back. But, in the last game, our guys really stepped up. Tonight was just a tough night for a lot of people. And, for all of us, we all got to get better. But what a great crowd. That's what a great crowd.
Anything else, Coach?
Super Bowl tomorrow, you got?
There's a Super Bowl tomorrow? I've had Arizona on my brain, and now it's the West Coast swing, which is going to be a lot of fun and a lot of great opportunity. And, hopefully we can play better than we did tonight and have an opportunity to get a big win. Rams.